Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mawala. Inshallah, today we will be going through the chapter Babu ma jaa fi sifati idami Rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, chapter on the description of the curry, the things he used to eat as curry of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is a very long chapter. There are more than 30 ahadith mentioned in this chapter. In some copies of this kitab, an additional subject essay is written, and that is on the curries and different things that Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ate. قال حدثنا محمد بن سهل بن عسكر وعبد الله بن عبد الرحمن قال حدثنا يحيى بن حسان حدثنا سليمان بن بلال عن هشام بن عروة عن أبيه عن عائشة رضي الله عنها أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال نعم الإدام الخل قال عبد الله بن عبد الرحمن في حديثه نعم الأدم أو الإدام الخل. Aisha radiallahu anha says Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam once said, what a nice curry vinegar is. The reason being, there is not much trouble in it. Bread can easily be eaten with it. It is always easily available. It also keeps away formalities. Besides, one lives in this world for a little while. Vinegar has many benefits in it. It is an antidote for poison. It stops phlegm and gall. It helps digest food, kills the worms of the stomach, and creates a good appetite. Due to its cold effect, it may not be good for some people, but it surely is a good curry which is obtained easily. In whatever way it is praised, its full benefits cannot be emphasized. It is stated in a hadith that Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ate it and said, what a wonderful curry it is, vinegar. In another hadith it is stated that Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made dua for barakah in it and said it was the curry of the previous Anbiya as well. So the previous prophets also regarded vinegar as the curry. In one hadith it is stated, the house that has vinegar in it will not be in need. Meaning, that house will not be in need of curry. These narrations have been mentioned in the Jam'ul Wasail from Ibn Majah. Amazing benefits of curry, vinegar. حدثنا قتيبة حدثنا أبو الأحوص عن سماك بن حرب قال سمعت النعمان بن بشير يقول ألستم في طعام وشراب ما شئتم لقد رأيت نبيكم صلى الله عليه وسلم وما يجد من الدقل ما يملأ بطنه. Nu'man ibn Bashir radiallahu anhu says, are you not in the luxuries of eating and drinking, whereas I have seen Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam not having ordinary type of dates to fill his stomach. The Sahaba's intention is to persuade one to follow the simple life of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that one lives in this world for only a short period. When in the hadith it is denied that Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not have ordinary dates to fill his stomach, then what about bread and curry? That was out of the question. So simplicity. May Allah grant us. This world is not a place of enjoyment. Jannah is a place of enjoyment. This place is a place just to live. And whatever a person can live on, we should eat to live, not live to eat. حدثنا عبدة بن عبد الرحمن الخزاعي حدثنا معاوية بن هشام عن سفيان عن محارب بن دثار عن جابر بن عبد الله قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم نعم الإدام الخل. Similar hadith, Jabir ibn Abdullah radiallahu anhu relates that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, what a wonderful curry vinegar is. It is possible that when Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this, both Sayyidina Aisha radiallahu anha and Sayyidina Jabir radiallahu anhu was present were present, they were both, that is why they both narrate the same hadith. It is more correct that Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this on different occasions. So he may have said it more than once. Subhanallah. حدثنا هناد حدثنا وكيع عن سفيان عن أيوب عن أبي قلابة عن زهد بن جرمي قال كنا عند أبي موسى الأشعري رضي الله عنه فأتي بلحم دجاج فتنحى رجل من القوم فقال ما لك؟ فقال إني رأيتها تأكل شيئا نتنا فحلفت ألا آكلها. قال أدنه فإني رأيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يأكل لحم دجاج. Something which we all look forward to. Zahdam al-Jarmi says that we were present in the assembly of Abu Musa Ash'ari radiallahu anh, in the gathering. Foul meat was served for food. Meat of chicken. A person from amongst those present moved back. Abu Musa radiallahu anhu asked him the reason for doing so, meaning he moved back. He replied, I had seen the fowl eat something dirty, so I swore an oath that I will not eat it. Abu Musa Ash'ari radiallahu anhu said, in that case I had seen Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam eat the meat of a fowl. Come and partake of it without fear. If it was not permissible or disliked, how did Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam eat it? The object is that something which is permissible in Sharia must not be prohibited. Break the oath and give kafara. Kafara of the oath is fasting for 3 days. Eating of the fowl is permissible according to all the imams. The ulama have only stated that it is makruh to eat the jalala type of fowl, because it eats dirt, that is a certain type. The effect of the fowl is hot and moist according to the physicians. It digests quickly, creates good humor, meaning body fluids in the body. It strengthens the brain and the main parts of the body, clears the voice and gives the body a good complexion. It strengthens the senses too. So the benefits of fowl. So subhanallah, the benefits of vinegar have been mentioned and the benefit of fowl have been mentioned. Can you just imagine eating vinegar on its own? On its own. Nothing extra with it, nothing more. All you need to do is you just put the vinegar in the plate and just dip it with bread. That's all you need to do. Nothing more. Today we use it as something on the side, as something to put on top of the main thing. حدثنا حداد حدثنا وكيع حدثنا الفضل ابن سهل الأعرج البغدادي حدثنا إبراهيم بن عبد الرحمن بن المهدي عن إبراهيم بن عمر بن سفينة عن أبيه عن جده قال أكلت مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لحم حبارا. Safina radiallahu anhu says, I ate the meat of hubara with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Hubara is a type of bird. The ulama differ on its meaning. Some say it is ta'dari, some say it is batera, quail, others say it is sarkhab. Some translations say it is chakachakoi. It is written in the Muhit A'zam that hubara is called hubara, shawat and shawal in Persian. In Turkish it is called ta'adri, and in Hindi charz. It is a wild bird and has a greyish color, a large neck and long legs. The beak is also slightly large and it flies at a speed. It is also known as jarj. The Greeks call it galophus. In size it is between a heron and a waterfowl. The author of Lughatul Sarah has also translated Hubara as Shawat. In Mazahir Haq it is translated as Ta'dari. Other authors have also translated as Ta'dari. For this reason, Ta'dari is most correct. The author of Ghayath has written both Ta'dari and Charz. The author of Bahrul Jawahir has also translated as Ta'dari. Charz, he writes that it is also called Sarkhab. But the author of Muhit has written that Sarkhab, which is also called Chakwa, is another type of bird. The author of Nafa'is say the Arabic of Chakwa and Sarkhab is Naham. Therefore it is correct that Sarkhab is another bird. Safina was a laqab, title of the freed slave of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was known as Safina because of travels. He carried a lot of goods on his back. Safina means going on ship. So that is why he was known as Safina. Safina literally means the ship. حدثنا علي بن حجر حدثنا إسماعيل بن إبراهيم عن أيوب بن القاسم التيمي عن زهد بن الجرمي قال كنا عند أبي موسى الأشعري رضي الله عنه فقال فقدم طعامه وقدم في طعامه لحم دجاج وفي القوم رجل من بني تيم الله أحمر كأنه مولى قال فلم يدن فقال له أبو موسى أدن فإني قد رأيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أكل منه قال إني رأيته يأكل شيئا فقذرته فحلفت ألا أطعمه أبدا. Similar hadith that has passed before. Zahdam al-Jarmi says we were present in the company of Abu Musa Ashari radiallahu anhu. Food was presented to him in which there were foul meat. Also, among those present was a person from the tribe of Banu Taymillah who was reddish in color and seemed a freed slave. He moved back and sat on one side. Abu Musa radiallahu anhu asked him to come near and partake of the food, and related to him that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also ate the meat of a fowl. He excused himself, saying, I had seen it eating such a thing which makes me dislike eating it. For this reason I had sworn an oath that I shall not eat it. This is the same hadith that has been mentioned previously. Because of the difference in the chain of narrators, there is also a difference in the describing the narration. Both ahadith are described in brief in the Shama'il. This incident is mentioned in detail in the Bukhari, Sahih Bukhari, where it is stated that in the end Sayyidina Abu Musa Ashari radiallahu anhu told him to partake of the fowl and give a kafara for the oath. Kafara, compensation, 3 days of fasting. What does it mean? Or what is derived by swearing an oath not to eat a thing which is halal? Understand? So it doesn't mean something which is halal, okay, for dietary purposes you are not eating it, that is understandable, but for no reason you are just eating it, then you should always try to eat something which is not haram, something specially which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ate. حدثنا محمود بن غيلان قال حدثنا أبو أحمد الزبيري وأبو نعيم قال حدثنا سفيان عن عبد الله بن عيسى عن رجل من أهل الشام يقال له عطاء عن أبي أسيد قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كلوا الزيت وادهنوا به فإنه من شجرة مباركة. Subhanallah, what an amazing hadith. Abu Usaid radiallahu anhu says Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, use olive oil in eating and for rubbing on the body, for it is from a blessed tree, Mubarak, blessed. The blessedness of this tree has been mentioned in the Quran in Surah An-Nur in the verse Mubarakatin Zaytuna La Sharqiyyati Wala Gharbiyya, Surah An-Nur verse 35. From a blessed tree, an olive, neither of the east nor of the west. The ulama have mentioned different reasons for its blessedness. Some say it is mostly grown in Syria and the earth of Syria is blessed. because 70 prophets were sent to it. Some say it is blessed because of its many benefits. Abu Nu'aym says it has a cure for 70 diseases, of which one is leprosy. Subhanallah. Sayyidina Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu says every part of the olive is beneficial. The oil is used for burning and cooking. It is also used for tanning. Its wood is used for firewood. The ash of the olive is especially good for washing silk. It is said that the olive tree has a long life. It bears fruit for 40 years and has a lifespan of 1,000 years. Subhanallah. Its numerous benefits are mentioned in the book of Tib. So in the books of medicine, Tib al-Nabawi, you can understand you can read it up. The medical benefits of using olive oil. This is Shaykh Zakaria rahmatullahi has mentioned briefly. حدثنا يحيى بن موسى حدثنا عبد الرزاق حدثنا معمر عن زيد بن أسلم عن أبيه عن عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كلوا الزيت وادهنوا به فإنه من شجرة مباركة. Similar type of hadith. قال أبو عيسى وكان عبد الرزاق يضطرب في هذا الحديث فربما أسنده وربما أرسله. حدثنا السنجي وهو أبو داود سليمان ابن معبد البروزي السنجي حدثنا عبد الرزاق عن معمر عن زيد بن أسلم عن أبيه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم نحوه ولم يذكر فيه عن عمر. It is narrated from Umar radiallahu anhu that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, use olive oil in cooking and rubbing on the body because it is from a blessed tree. The reason for mentioning this hadith in the practices of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is that if he encouraged the use of olives, he must have used it himself. Subhanallah. Shama'il literally means to the practices of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is a command of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if he commanded other people to use it, he must have used it himself as well. حدثنا محمد بن بشار حدثنا محمد بن جعفر وعبد الرحمن بن مهدي قال حدثنا شعبة عن قتادة عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه قال كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يعجبه الدباء فأتي بطعام أو دعي له فجعلت أتتبعه فأضعه بين يدي لما أعلم أنه يحبه. Subhanallah. This was the love of Sahaba for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu anhu says Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam loved God. Dubba, Dodi, Kaddu. Once food was presented to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or he attended an invitation. The narrator doubts on which occasion this took place. Where God was served, I knew Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam loved it. I searched for pieces from the curry and presented to him. Anas radiallahu anhu used to stay with him. He stayed with him for many years, a decade. We gather from this that if there are many things in a plate, then it is permissible to take a thing which one likes from the other side of the plate, provided the next person does not feel offended. The reason for searching the pieces of God is because it was the custom to have more gravy in the curry. Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also advised us to have more gravy in the curry so that the neighbors may also benefit. So make it a bit more. Pumpkin, God, pumpkin, which is known as in the common language. So حدثنا قتيبة بن سعيد حدثنا حفص بن غياث عن إسماعيل بن أبي خالد عن حكيم بن جابر عن أبيه قال دخلت على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فرأيت عنده دباء يقطع فقلت ما هذا؟ قال كثر به طعامنا. قال أبو عيسى وجابر هذا هو جابر بن طارق ويقال ابن أبي طارق وهو رجل من أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ولا يعرف له إلا هذا الحديث الواحد. وأبو خالد اسمه سعد. Jabir ibn Tariq radiyallahu anhu, amazing. Jabir ibn Tariq radiyallahu anhu, this is the only hadith which is narrated from him. Only hadith. So listen to it attentively. Jabir ibn Tariq radiyallahu anhu says, I attended the assembly of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I observed they were busy cutting a gourd into pieces, pumpkin. I inquired, what shall be made of this? He replied, it will add to our food. The ulama have mentioned many benefits of pumpkin, gourd, dubba, dodi, kaddu. Its benefits are also mentioned in the books of medicine, tib. It strengthens the brain and senses. So especially students of knowledge and those who want to enhance the memory should try to eat pumpkin. حدثنا قتيبة بن سعيد عن مالك بن أنس عن إسحاق بن عبد الله ابن أبي طلحة أنه سمع أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه يقول إن خياطا دعا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لطعام صنعه. قال أنس فذهبت مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إلى ذلك الطعام فقرب إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم خبزا من شعير ومرقا فيه دباء وقديد. قال أنس فرأيت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يتتبع الدباء حوالي القصعة فلم أزل أحب الدباء من يومئذ. سبحان الله. Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu says, a tailor once invited Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I also attended the invitation with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam because he was his khadim, he was serving him, he was in his service. He served Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam bread made of barley and gravy with meat and gourd, pumpkin, dubba, todi in it. I seen Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam look for pieces of pumpkin from all sides of the plate. From that time I also began loving pumpkin. Because I had seen my beloved love pumpkin, I also started loving pumpkin. Sayyidina Anas radiallahu anhu may have also been invited or may have accompanied Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There is no harm if one accompanies an invited guest to an invitation, provided the host does not feel offended. That's the only, provided you should notify him, or if he doesn't mind then it's fine. Sayyidina Anas radiallahu anhu saying that from then on he began loving pumpkin shows the love of Sahaba radiallahu anhum had for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. True love demands that every deed of the beloved is loved and every word has a place in the heart. The degree of love will determine the order of the effects of the beloved. What glory Allah has. Today the ones who claim to love Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam do not like to make their appearance like him or even imitate him. Observe the disparity of the path that from where to where it is. Allah grant us understanding. True love demands that we love the things which the beloved loves. حدثنا أحمد بن إبراهيم الدورقي وسلمى بن شبيب ومحمود بن غيلان قالوا حدثنا أبو أسامة عن هشام بن عروة عن أبيه عن عائشة رضي الله عنها قالت كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يحب الحلواء والعسل. A very beautiful hadith. Aisha radiallahu anha says Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam loved halwa and honey. Halwa here apparently means anything sweet. Some are of the opinion that it is a special type of halwa that is made of sweet meats and ghee. The heated up melted butter, ghee. The first person to present halwa to Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was Sayyidina Uthman radiyallahu anhu. Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam liked it. This halwa was made of flour, ghee and honey. Sugar was not commonly used in those times. Sweetening agents were derived from honey or dates. So the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a sweet tooth. Subhanallah. حدثنا الحسن بن محمد الزعفراني حدثنا حجاج بن محمد قال ابن جريج أخبرني محمد بن يوسف أن عطاء بن يسار أخبره أن أم سلمة أخبرته أنها قربت إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم جنبا مشويا فأكل منه ثم قام إلى الصلاة وما توضأ. Salma radiallahu anha says, I presented a roasted side portion of meat, shoulder, to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He ate it and thereafter performed salah without performing wudu. It is found in some ahadith that things cooked on fire nullifies the wudu. The students who we're studying Mishkat from, yesterday we went through the same thing in the chapter. This was also the madhab of the ulama mutaqaddimin, the previous ulama. The madhab of the khulafa rashidun, the four imams, and the majority of the ulama is that those ahadith wherein it is necessary is mentioned has been abrogated. This hadith of Sayyidina Salma radiallahu anhu also supports the madhab, the stance of the majority of that Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not perform wudu again after eating the cooked meat before salah. So what do we learn? That he ate cooked meat. حدثنا قتيبة حدثنا ابن لهيعة عن سليمان ابن زياد عن عبد الله ابن الحارث قال أكلنا مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم شواء في المسجد. Abdullah ibn Harith radiallahu anhu says, we ate roasted meat with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the masjid. From this we find that it is permissible to eat and drink in the masjid, on condition that the masjid does not become untidy. Otherwise it is makruh to do so. It is possible that this was at the time of i'tikaf in Ramadan. It was the practice of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to observe i'tikaf every year. And at that time it is obvious that one eats in the masjid. Subhanallah. Inshallah we'll do one more hadith and then inshallah we'll continue next week. حدثنا محمود بن غيلان حدثنا وكيع حدثنا مسعر عن أبي صخرة جامع بن شداد عن المغيرة بن عبد الله عن المغيرة بن شعبة رضي الله عنه قال ضفت مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ذات ليلة فأتي بجنب مشوي ثم أخذ الشفرة فجعل يهز فهز لي بها منه قال فجاء بلال يؤذن بالصلاة فألقي الشفرة فقال ما له تربت يداه فقال وكان شاربه قد وفى فقال له أقصه لك على سواك أو قصه على سواك. Mughira ibn Shu'bah radiallahu anhu says, one night I became a guest with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we went to eat together. At that time of meals, a roasted side portion of meat was served. The Prophet of Allah used to love the shoulder side. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam cut pieces from it and gave me to eat. During this period, Bilal radiallahu anhu came and called out the adhan. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, may his both hands be in dust. What made him call out the adhan now? He put down the knife and went for salah. Mughira radiallahu anhu says, another thing what happened that my moustache had grown long. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, come, let me put a miswak on it and trim it. Or said, put a miswak on it and trim it. One of the narrator are in doubt as to which of the two Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said. You put it or shall I put it, the miswak, and cut it for you? There are a few important matters to be discussed here. The first is that Sayyidina Mughira radiallahu anhu became a guest of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The ulama give two meanings to this. This is also strengthened by other narration. One is that the word together with is extra. The object is that I became a guest of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As a host, he had a side portion roasted and cut pieces from the meat and gave me to eat. The narration in Tirmidhi is more appropriate to this subject. The narration in Abu Dawud on this is clear, and the words mentioned are, I became a guest of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The second meaning is that Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and I were the guest of a third person. The word together in this narration supports this. In this case, for Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to cut the meat and feed the guest was to create love and brotherhood. Some have written a third meaning. What does that mean? I invited Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be my guest. This is not true. According to this humble servant, it is more correct that I was the guest of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and other guests were invited. As was the general custom, the respected people were invited with their servants and guests. In this manner, there will be no contradiction between the narration of Abu Dawud and Tirmidhi. In reality, he was the guest of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and because of an invitation to Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his guest, he and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam were both the guest of another person. So he was the guest of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Prophet of Allah was guest to another person. The second question in the narration of Abu Dawud and Bayhaqi is that it has been prohibited to cut with a knife. The ulama of hadith have summed up both hadith in many ways. The easiest is that it has been prohibited to use a knife for eating purposes. That is why we say you shouldn't eat with knife and fork. If the meat is not cooked well, tender, then there is no harm in first cutting it and then eating it with the hand, but not eating it with the knife itself, just to use the knife just to cut it. As a general rule in law, where a thing is found to be both permitted and prohibited, and there is no sound reason for adopting it, then according to the basis of law, the prohibition shall be given preference. So you have two things, prohibition and permission. The prohibition will be given preference. This is an independent view of law. Some ulama have written the hadith in which it has been prohibited is mentioned in the following terms, words: do not cut meat with a knife. This is the way of the ajamis, the non-believers. We gather that the prohibition is in following the ways of the non-believers. There is no prohibition in using a knife. We have been prohibited in thousands of ahadith from imitating the non-believers. The third question is the words of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said about Sayyidina Bilal radiyallahu anh. These words were an admonition. The meaning of such words are not intended but are used to reproach somebody. These types of words are used in every language when scolding someone, although some ulama have taken the literal meaning of the word because they are the words of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In reality, it was only to reproach, the reason being that when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is busy attending to a guest, then the azan should not be given. It was better to wait till they had finished, as there was still room for performing salah a little later. It most likely be Isha salah. The fourth question is about trimming the moustache. The meaning is clear as stated in the explanation of the hadith, that the moustache of Sayyidina Mughira radiallahu anhu had grown long. Instead of a comb, Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said a miswak must be put to trim the moustache. Some of the commentators on hadith say that the moustache of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is meant here. But in the narration of Abu Dawud, it clearly stated that my moustache had grown long, which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam then trimmed. So meaning it wasn't the moustache of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was the moustache of Mughira ibn Shu'bah radiallahu anhu. In different ahadith, this is mentioned in different wordings. It has been stated, let the beard grow long, and it has been stressed very much that the moustache be cut short. For this reason, a group of ulama say it is sunnah to shave the moustache, sunnah. The research of the majority of the ulama show that it is sunnah to cut the moustache short. It should be cut so short that it is nearest to shaving. So inshallah we will leave it till there. I will just read the khulasa from the book, and then inshallah we will continue next week. The Prophet ﷺ's condiments. He would say the best condiment is vinegar. He would eat chicken. He ﷺ ate the meat of hubara, which according to this translation means bustards. He also ﷺ said, consume olive oil and apply it as it is from a blessed tree. he would like God a lot and would seek it from the sides of the platter. It would be prepared specially out of his honor. He ﷺ loved sweets, halwa and honey. The Prophet ﷺ was offered the meat of a roasted side, shoulder, and ate of it. He did not consider eating what was cooked by fire to break wudu. Thus he prayed without reviewing wudu. Sweets, halwa, is either a reference to any sweet item or a particular type of dessert made from dates and milk. Sometime he took a knife and cut the meat with his own hands. His favorite meat was the shoulder, which he would tear with his teeth. May Allah grant us the true love of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These were some of the foods of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Inshallah, as a beloved, just like Anas radiallahu anhu, we read that he started loving pumpkin because he saw Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam love pumpkin. We should also love the food of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam because that was the food which the beloved used to eat and he used to like. May Allah grant all of us understanding. Ameen wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Rasulina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.